other guys riding on backbiting and get away with lies. No matter what it takes, who is gonna cry? The only thing that matters is you get what you desire. But I know for sure today will come when you first realize what you have done, and you finally get your debt repaid and revenge is served on a cold plate. You hear the roll of the shutdown when the world will stop without a sound, and a moment you will cry for help, and we only think.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Blackmagic Collective's Q&A panel on the initiative programs, the career advancement initiatives that we have new for this year. I am Jen Page. I'm the Executive Director of Blackmagic Collective. If you are here, please start talking to us in the comments, ask all your questions during the panel, and we will get them answered. In the meantime, we're going to tell you a little bit about each program. All this came to be because last year we started the Future Women of Television program. We picked 6 writers and 6 directors to be a part of a year-long program where basically we just met with showrunners and network executives and directors who are out there directing TV and writers who are in writers' rooms and making connections and forging networks. It was so successful that 2 of our writers, if not more, got repped by management through that. We got one of our writers actually on her first network show now. Everybody had something come from it. It just was insanely successful, so awesome. Good morning, Mel. Thanks for joining us. So we wanted to create more opportunity, and that brings us here today. Soma, who was part of Future Women of Television, she's actually taking on lead for a new program that she'll tell you a little bit about.
Hi, everybody. My name is Soma. So as Jen said, I was in the Future Women of TV last year, and the new program that I am leading is called Breakthrough Initiative. So this is a program for BIPOC writers and directors, men and women, and every gender in between. I'm not even sure how to say that politically correctly anymore. I'm really, really sorry. But these are for people who are on the cusp. They are ready to direct their first episodic show, or they're ready for their first room, and they just need that little bit of help to try and get them hired.
Great. Hi, Marcus. Thanks for joining us and from Burbank. It's my favorite place. I'm always there. Kate and I were part of a really big sort of short fest thing competition. And she's was so kick-ass that I kind of begged her to come on this, but she was happy to do it. And she created this awesome program. Will you tell us about it, Kate?
Sure. So it is called the Future Directors of Studio Features. And it has a lot of similarities to the Breakthrough Initiative in that it's really for women directors who are poised for that next level in their career, who have already done outstanding work, but may have been overlooked or underrepresented up to this point. And so, we're really looking for, in this initiative, somebody who has a distinct voice and style, who really knows what it is that they want to be doing, where they're going to go in their career. And I think one of the benefits of this that you guys had last year at the Future Women of TV is that you will be meeting with people who are decision makers, who can not only connect with you, but give you some of the best advice in the industry, right? And so it's really going to be focused on tailoring your specific brand and materials and getting you ready with everything so that you, as Soma mentioned, are hireable and can get to that next level. So
got newcomers coming on. Thank you, Robin and Daniela, for joining us. And on that note, when Kate says we're looking for people who know what they're doing, that's why we do not allow people to apply to both Breakthrough and Studio Features. We want people who know their path. You are a feature director and you know it. you want to direct television and you know it. Now we get that sometimes you're a feature director who also directs television, and that's going to happen. But at this point, we really want people who are dedicated and know exactly what they want. So you should easily know which program you want to apply to. And it's also kind of cool that Breakthrough Initiative and All Access, which you're about to hear about, both are the first. They're going to allow men to be a part of it, which is great because we had success with Future Women in Television, and we wanted to find a way to bring guys into the fold as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Shannon to talk a little bit about the new All Access Disabled Filmmakers on the Move program.
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm really excited about this program. As Jen said, it is for people who identify with having a disability. It is for all genders, and just it's open to everybody who has a disability. And what we're trying to do is we are looking for directors and writers who are experienced people who just haven't had the opportunity to get into doors to meet people that are change makers and to meet people who can actually help further their career. And so we're looking for people who are ready to meet those people, know how to talk to them, know how to be in a room or be the head of a film. And we're really looking forward to helping you kind of meet some people who will help you move to the next level.
And I love that. I feel like a lot of our programs are, I know there's probably times where someone's like, what isn't there not a program for me? We're slowly growing programs out, and we're trying to sort of take the groups that are at the forefront of, we know, for instance, disabled filmmakers do not have the same access as anybody else. It doesn't matter, color of skin, gender, disabled filmmakers, there's a conversation that needs to be had for showrunners to even understand that it's not some kind of hurdle they have to jump. Just hire people. Same thing with Breakthrough Initiative. It's like you don't have to be a white woman with blonde hair to write a story about a white woman with blonde hair. And we're trying to have those conversations throughout. I love the questions that are coming in. Thank you all for being here. Good morning. I'm going to start with one that kind of has come up a lot in emails that I've gotten, which is, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Is it Ajoke? Does anybody know how to pronounce that? For the Breakthrough Initiative, and this is for all programs really, but how many hours or days are expected? Soma, do you want to start talking on that?
Yeah, sure. So, because this is a program for people who are already working, we don't want to make it a time suck. So at this point, we are planning one meeting with a champion a month. And at this point, it's all going to be Zoom. So it'll be an hour for that. And then we're doing an hour check-in meeting also via Zoom, just to make sure that we're on the right track and to check in with problems or ideas for the program in future. So really, it's going to be a couple of hours a month. It really depends, because last year in Future Women of TV, we had such an interest from champions to come and speak to us. We actually had over 50, wasn't it? It was some insane number. So we're not going to close it off to that. If there's an incredible champion like Sarah Gamble who decides that she wants to meet with us in the middle of the month and we have something, scheduled, we have to be flexible and allow that to happen also.
Yeah. I think it's the same for Kate. Your program is similar. It's like
it's similar. I know we have high winds where I'm at too. It's similar. I would encourage, firstly, for everyone to really read through the expectations that are listed under each program, because it gives you a strong view of this is what we expect from you and what you can expect out of the initiative as well. So be sure to clearly read that. And so for the future directors of studio features, I think that we're probably going to be meeting a little bit more often. We have a few different topics. And it, again, as Soma said, it really depends on champion availability and how often we are able to bring people into the initiative. At the minimum, it would be one a month. I would like to get a few different meetings happening a month, and that will include meetings with peers as well, and then kind of different level advisors who, for example, we're going to be doing like a pitching salon, right? And so first, we would work on the materials with our peers, and then we'd have an advisor actually come in and give us critical feedback on those pitches and help us kind of tailor those to what would really help us move forward with those. So it really is depending right now. as much as possible, we expect people, I think we said like at least you have to attend at least 80% of the classes, but you're not going to want to miss anything. And I don't mean to say classes, because there is some educational elements, but for the most part, we're really focusing on connections. So
Yeah, she's built a really fantastic program out, to be honest. Another question that we should answer is, for the programs, if we want to apply as a writer, but also as a director, we indicate this is our interest. Will that work? And I'm going to tell you right now, no. If you're in our program, you know exactly what you're going to do. You're either a writer or a director. Future Women of TV, in 2020, we had directors who were also writers, who were literally writing something for Netflix, but they were not allowed to get, we were not helping them connect to other writers, to showrunners for their writing jobs, to managers for their writing jobs. We only represented them as directors, because that's what they came to us for. Because the thought is, if you're in these programs, you're already pretty far along in your career and you already know what you want to do. You know you're a director or a writer. So that's kind of where we are. And not to say that there's not people who are writing on TV shows and they're directing, but pick your entry doorway, I guess, is what I would say.
And can I just piggyback on that?
Sure.
I think, especially when you are trying to get, eyes and attention, and unless you're out there really creating your own content, and making, a series that catches the attention of someone, and you're acting in it and you're writing, etc., I think specificity is really key, right? It's like narrowing down, this is, as I keep saying, here's my qualifiable statement. This is at the core of who I am. This is what I am doing and what I want to be doing. And representing yourself that way at least gets you in the door and gets you started doing one thing. And people, a lot of people in the industry will say, like, I need to know what you need from me. What is it that you want to be doing, right? How can I help you? Because I think that's that's something that a lot of people want to do. They want to help, but they can't help if they can't figure out, what it is you are doing. So I think that's a big focus of the initiatives as well, is really just tailoring down and narrowing and saying specifically, this is who I am and what I want to be doing.
And again, to clarify, because I see that Jessica wanted to clarify her thing. She says, I'm a writer, but also director. Can I indicate that I'm applying as a writer? You would just apply as a writer. You wouldn't put your directing work on there. You would only put your scripts, your writing work. You would not, you could mention somewhere that you direct, but you would apply as a writer. In your strong suit. And I know Shannon, I don't know if you want to mention anything, but Shannon has a thing where she really wants to encourage actor writers to be involved in the All Access program, but still you're applying as a writer with your strengths as a writer. You don't send your acting reel. Okay.
Yes.
Did you want to add anything else to that one, Shannon?
No, that covers it.
Okay. Back up to questions. Stacy asks, will there be one-on-one meetings, or will all meetings be as a group? The quick answer, as a group, someone else might want to jump in and talk more about how one-on-ones could happen, but there are opportunities for one-on-ones because the champions have requested it in the past. But we will never, in these programs, we're not setting up one-on-ones. At the next level program, which if you're asked to join that after your first year, you will have one-on-ones set up for you on purpose. Does anybody have anything else to add to that?
No, I think that's what happened last year, and it worked really well. Everybody, you come in as a unit, you come in as for example, it was the Future Women of TV, but they are given all of our work and all of our samples and all of our contact details. So if they want to set up one-on-ones, and it did happen, like Jen said a few times, they will contact you for a one-on-one general.
And
the
I would
whole
also
goal
say
of the
too
programs is to get you guys work, like to get. It's not this isn't a program where you're learning. We're not interested in that. You may be learning, and you will be learning, but this program is geared to open doors for people who are ready, who have the credits, who've been for 20 years busting their butt to get in the door and have not had that door open. These programs are designed to open doors the best we can for you.
And also, the size of the selectees, it's small. It's 10 to 12 people max for each initiative. So it will be a really intimate setting, and you will get to have, quote unquote, FaceTime with the people coming in the door because of that. So.
Oh, absolutely. And so.
Sorry, just a follow-up question. I think Stacy we're all along the same thing. That means the writers and directors all meet at the same time. Yes.
Yes. That's why it's writers and directors, is because they are hired pretty much by the same people, the showrunners. The executives have to say yes to them. We did have separate times where directors met with just TV directors and writers met with just TV writers. But most of the time, you want to meet with everybody. You attend all of them because you want to meet the writers as well. You want to know as much as you can. But yeah, really quick. Yes, Kimba, we are confirming Breakthrough Initiative and Future Directors Series deadlines are January 29th. So you'll get your apps in by then. And for future directors, you also have to have your nomination forms in by then. Kate, on nomination forms, do you want to give some information?
Sure. So for the Studio Features Initiative, we are asking, rather than you submit and hunt down for someone to write this big letter of recommendation for you, send the nomination form link to a working industry professional that can best speak about you as a director and your forward path. And so we need a minimum of 1 and up to 3. They're very simple. They take 5 minutes to fill out, and they've actually been, I think they're pretty insightful for you as well. Like your nominators are saying in a very short statement, this is how I see this director, and this is where I see them going. And that may give you some insight into your own career as well. So
love it. Moving on, really quick on this one, Daniela, what is copyright and where does it go? What kind of contract do you offer? I don't know if one of you guys want to speak in depth to this, but there's really, like, you own any work you work. We don't own your work. We don't submit your work to anybody. You submit it. So basically you give us the link that you want someone to go to. I don't know if you want to talk more on that, because we did that last year.
Yeah, so at the end of each meeting, the champion meeting, we ask the champion if it's okay for us to send them the samples and links of everybody in the meeting. And in that kind of PDF, you choose which ones you want to send to them. I think we maxed it out at 2, just so that we wouldn't overwhelm every champion with all our work. But definitely, it's your work. We're not claiming copyright. We are just sending it on to the champions. And I'm not sure about this contract question, because I don't understand it.
We're not agents or managers. We're not getting contracts for you. You will sign a contract with your team, basically, with the participants saying, I agree to be there for you and that you come before me and all, like it's a we effort, that kind of thing. But no. Let's get into.
Can I just add one thing to that? Because I wanted to just talk about the submission process as well, the copyright. And so for, I think the other 2 initiatives, you may be asked to submit a writing sample, right, Soma and Shannon? Yeah. And so that, and there's information in the application about that. Like, you're saying you own the rights to it. We're not doing anything with the submission other than just reviewing it for your participation in this initiative. It's not going anywhere outside of that.
Perfect. I want to get into requirements for each program and what you're looking for. Shannon, I'd love to start with you because we haven't shut up talking yet. What are your thoughts on, or like, if you could give a little bit about what you're going to be looking for in the criteria of your writers and directors?
Sure, that's a great question. No, I do know. For writers, we're looking for someone who has created either a pilot or something over 30 minutes. We're looking for 2 submissions, so at least a pilot or something, a film that's over 30 minutes, and a second thing. It can be a short film. It can be another pilot. It can be another feature if you're that ambitious. Awesome. That sounds like a lot of work. And for directors, we're looking for someone who has created something created content that we can see. I guess.
Yeah, it's a little different. All Access is we're having a little more flexibility because we want to really try to get as many people as we can involved in the program.
Yeah.
And I think that as Shannon and I talked about yesterday, All Access doesn't necessarily, disabled filmmakers haven't necessarily had the access that able-bodied filmmakers have had. So the rules aren't as stringent as the ones you're about to hear. But, yeah, we want to see that if you're a director, we want to be able to see that you know how to tell a story. So we will be asking for works that prove that.
Yeah, exactly. And it can be a short film, it can be a feature, it can be a piece of television. but we definitely want to see your vision. I think that for directors, that really is key. And as also, we want to see the quality of work that you're creating. I think that everybody thinks they're a director now because they have an iPhone, but I think that like we do want people who are able to go to a set and direct a film or direct a piece of television. So we are really looking for people who are ready, not just creating fun
and
content.
also knowing that there's a level of professionalism because you're going to be meeting with high level executives, and we need to know that they understand how to handle themselves in that situation. Soma, would you talk about your requirements?
Sure. So we are requiring for writers 2 samples, half an hour each, a minimum of half hour each, and one of them has to be an original pilot. So again, we want to see that quality, and we want to see the type of writing, your voice. Can you format a script properly? Funnily enough, this is really
for writers.
important.
For your program, Soma, for writers, what kind of credits are you looking for them to have already had?
Well, that's for writers.
Yes,
you mean
for
like
writers.
we want them to have already publicly aired, or like an IMDb, they have a feature that's already been aired. If it's a festival, if it's a on air, if it's we just want to be able to see that it's not just someone at home creating work that basically, I think a lot of people, like you said, Shannon, are calling themselves writers and directors, but we want to have confidence that we're sending people in that are ready for their first room. So whether you are an assistant, or it's just a level of professionalism that we want to see. And the same goes for directors. If the 2 samples, one could be a feature film, or if you haven't done a feature, it could be a list of commercials or short films, or as long as they are web series, again, that they have aired at a reputable festival, or for commercials, if you've had a national commercial. Does that answer the question?
I think it's answering the question, because it's really all about the trust factor, knowing that like this person has been on enough sets, they've talked to enough professionals, they know how to be a team player, which will also be taught through their recommendation letters and all that. And because we will be, for Breakthrough Initiative, we will be calling references. So
yes, we will.
have those. Kate, you want to talk a little about your requirements and what you're looking for in credits?
Sure. So as far as the requirements, we are asking for 2 links to a complete film, whether that be a feature or a short. And again, short, at least 5 minutes. Don't send in 1 minute short and be like, here you go, this is me as a director. Not that there aren't good 1 minute shorts out there.
Also,
but
it's very hard to tell a story in 1 minute. So if you have a great 1 minute short,
I do know.
And you should submit it to the Black Magic Collective Film Festival, 5 minutes and under, because Kate won it last year and won a Ursa Mini G2, $1,000, a Sigma lens. Like, if you can tell stories in under 5 minutes, you should be submitting for sure.
Yes. And in those samples, we're most interested in A, what you feel is your best work to date. B, tells the story well, even if you had limited resources. And I think that's a key for me in this program. You don't have to know everybody in town, and you don't have to have had the biggest budgets and the most spectacle for your work. But can we see that you can direct a good story? Can we see that even given certain limitations, you are a passionate director who has a vision and has something to say? And so really think about that critically when you're submitting your samples. In addition to that, we ask you to, of course, answer a couple of questions about you and why do you feel you're ready to direct a feature, that kind of thing. Everybody's passionate. Everybody's going to say, I am ready for my first feature because I'm so passionate in doing it that I can do this. That's not going to make somebody feel like you are ready to direct a feature. What is it about your journey as a director, as an artist, and up to this point that has gotten you ready and and is going to help propel you into that next level. And so I would really just encourage people to think about that more critically, because everybody's responding to these applications. So, you want to set yourself apart a little bit.
I think I can go for all of the programs. That's such a great,
Mm.
such a great note to really point out, is that it's all about, we know you're passionate because you're taking the time to fill this out. But are you technically abled? Where does that come from? Absolutely.
And then finally, I think, was there something else? I just looked through this real quick. We don't require that you've directed a feature film before, although if you have, please submit that link in the application form. I think anybody who's directed a feature has probably had one where it was a crazy train going 100 miles an hour and you got through it. And so I think that is helpful information as well, but it's not a requirement at this time.
Yeah, I agree. Mel, since you're asking about the Future One of TV, I will say that it may actually be changing to a different program, because as we've seen with directors and Breakthrough, it's very similar, but the requirements will be very much the same. It will be, last year you were required to have directed at least a feature film. And if you hadn't had a feature, you like Sharon was selected, and she had directed 125 episodes of non-scripted television with, in major network studios. So she was ready. It's just really, I think all the programs are about showing you're ready to be hired. You're ready to be at a general meeting at NBC with the big wigs, and you're not going to embarrass yourself or us. We just need to know you're ready. And I think that's any of these programs. So you submit your best work that you feel really stands out. I know we all, like Kate said, everybody's got their issues with their work. There's no work of mine that I'm like through and through. I love it and it's great. So I have to pick the ones that I think are the most me. I submit those and I tell you why I'm ready. And then again, for Shannon's All Access, I think that there's a little more leeway to not having had the same experience as these other programs, but we still want to know that you're a professional and that you are a team player. So I think we are we're actually at the end of our time, but if we have any final questions coming up, by all means.
I know Jessica's asked about this a couple of times about the writer requirements for Future Women of TV coming up. And I know you just touched on director, but
if we decide to go for, if we're going to go ahead and have the program, it's going to be you had to have directed. I think we had it. You had to have written 2 pilots or something. It was basically the same thing. It's like, we just need to know you can write. What we looked at last year, honestly, we didn't even read people's material last year. This year, we're adding more staff to help read stuff. It was more like, what are your credits? Our writers had sold movies to major studios. They just hadn't had their TV break. Our writers, one of our writers she wrote one of the biggest Lifetime premieres ever. We just kind of looked at their background and their skill level and their resourcefulness. One of our writers had 3 or 4 pilots written, but has never had anything professional other than 1 short film. But you could tell that this person was a go-getter, ended up being one of our best people in the program. So I think that instead of beating yourself up over what requirements are, team, I would say really just put your best foot forward. Here's who I am. Here's why I'm awesome. Here's why I'm different. And here's how I will benefit the program. That's a big one. And not always making it about yourself. Like, what do you bring to the table? Do you know, are you close friends with executive producers, or do you, have you had general meetings with showrunners? Those things are actually very beneficial.
And I would just like to actually jump on that too, Jen. It's not to say that we're looking for the people who have all the connections and they're going to get chosen over others. You may not even have these relationships with them yet, but I think under the expectations we've stated, everybody that takes part in this initiative is responsible for reaching out to champions and bringing them into the initiative. And so if you understand that, and that you're going to be doing that, everyone's going to be doing that under the guise of, this is the Black Magic Collective, Future Director Studio Features, Breakthrough Initiative, whatever it is. There's meat there to latch onto, that you are going to be sending contacts out and not being shy to that. So
Which also could go back to even saying like where Kate says, I know who I am as a director. It's like, look, I really want to work for XYZ show. I want to go out and get that showrunner to come meet with us. It's that dedication. It's that excitement. It's that knowledge. It's knowing that you've actually done the homework and you're professional enough to know who should be hiring and who you should be bringing to the table. Because if you don't even know those answers, you're not ready for these programs. And on that note, we are going to have programs for newer filmmakers. So don't think you're being left out. Like we're going to be launching those probably in the summer where you could have done one short and you just need to start networking and learning more and meeting more people. We're also looking at doing Women Behind the Lens program. So we're really working on more programs. So if you're watching this now and you're thinking, well, there's nothing here for me, there is going to be something for you. And we always love to get emails with program ideas. So go ahead and email us at info@blackmagiccollective.com.
And I would also say that, you know, you and the team have been really wonderful in bringing helpful events, you know, regularly through Blackmagic Collective, right? You know, I think you had the Joker colorist on and other people who are coming in and sharing their expertise with the collective as a whole too. So be sure to sign up as a member. It's free and you get access to all that.
And Mel, just want to point out her she says, that's very helpful to know as someone who's spent more than a decade working to get experience and then network to finally get next level opportunities as a director and writer for TV. And I want to put that up because Mel and everybody watching, that is why the Future Women TV was formed in the beginning and why these other programs are being formed, because we are there with you. We are almost everybody here is at least 10 years, if not 20. I'm over 20 years in the business. I have over 6 feature films attached to my 7th and my 8th, have directed hundreds of things. I still haven't gotten that break in TV either. It's a hard nut to crack. So we are doing our best to give women and people of color, people with disabilities, whoever we can, we're trying to give them a voice that they haven't had really ever. And doors are starting to open now. So we're going to ride that wave and open some doors.
Kim asked, oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, read it out.
Can the application be filled out little by little or all at once? Not sure if your application is save as you go. Soma,
no,
as far as I know,
no.
It's technically a Google form, so I guess we could search that and put that information up. But I do think you can leave it open forever though, and then just keep coming back to it and it'll be fine. But anytime I'm filling out apps, the thing I always just put the answers in a Word doc and I go back and I edit them there and then I copy them in just to be safe. So
and just so you're aware, in the Directors of Studio Features, there are 4 sections. So you have to get through the initial, you know, here's the disclaimers and you certify you're applying to only one program, and then you're identifying information until you get to sections 3 and 4, which is your body of work and then all about you. And so I also filled out the application. All in all, with me really critically thinking about all of my answers, it took about an hour. And I just kept the application open. So that's what I would recommend.
And we made a concerted effort to make sure this application wasn't quite as long as some of the ones we've all filled out. So it's really concise and we just get the information we need from you.
Love it, love it, love it. So because we were asked for the email again, I'm just going to send that to you again, info@blackmagiccollective.com. Pretty simple. Yes, I love ideas. I love ideas for panels. I love it all. I love it all. Do we have any more questions so we can let everybody off of here? I think that's it. Again, everything, I promise you, everything is, the
yes, an application. But you know what? It is helpful for your project moving forward. So now you have all that information that you can then turn into a treatment and pitches. Yeah.
Stacey.
I think we fixed that problem, Stacey.
Yeah.
She says for breakthrough application, the statement is 350 words or 350 characters because it's getting an error. We actually changed it to be 500 characters. I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So again, I just want to say, join the collective. It's completely free and it's, events galore all throughout the year. Programs you'll be the first to know about programs. We email like once a month with a sort of our month's events for the month. If you have any ideas that you think we really need to get on, info@blackmagiccollective.com. If you're having any application issues, you can email that as well. I I'm hoping we answered all of your questions here. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for joining us and for being so active and asking questions. Does anybody in our panel have any final?
Yeah, read the applications.
Yes, please.
Questions really carefully, please. There are, I'm reading some of the applications coming through right now, and just that's my hint: is read the questions very carefully and make sure that you read the first page carefully before you tick to agree.
And I would like to add, I think traditionally there's been this kind of competitive nature. These initiatives are only going to be stronger if you share this information with people of high quality that you know are your peers. And if you are ready and you're confident in your own abilities, you should have no problem sharing this with people and getting as wide a net as possible into talented writers and directors that are ready for this initiative, because it's only going to make them stronger.
Really quick, Kate, can you talk about the nomination form? Do people need to just send the link over?
Yes.
So basically, Zuzana, just send the link that's listed in your app to your people, and they will click the link and they will submit from there. And yeah, it does need to come from them though, so we know it's real. Shannon, do you have any last minute thoughts or words? No? Okay. Well, you guys, awesome. Thank you so much for being here. You are amazing. We are going to leave you with that.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye, everyone.